How's it going, everyone? Wanna cover Black Myth Wukong in this video as it has just cracked an absolutely staggering statistic as far as sales numbers go. As far as new IPs, this has been a landmark release for 2024, and really, if you assess what Black Myth Wukong represents, it's a landmark release in gaming history. I know that people are gonna be like, you're being hyperbolic about it, you're exaggerating, etc, etc. But no, this is legitimately one of the biggest game releases of all time for a wide variety of reasons, and honestly speaking, metrically, this is one of the biggest game releases of all time if you assess the Steam concurrent players. Oh my god, but the majority of players are in China, that doesn't count. Well, I mean, that says a lot about you. If you think that doesn't count, it absolutely does count. Yes, a large percentage of the player base is out of China, but even if you look at how this game is doing in the West, it is doing exceedingly well in the West, and the sales numbers have come out, and one of the best-selling video games of all time. I don't know who was expecting this game to do this well, and honestly, I'm not gonna get into the rabbit hole in this video. I try to stay away from politics on this channel, but the amount of political conversation that I've had to have with my friends, certain friends, about Black Myth Wukong is staggering. I legitimately had someone tell me that they think people are faking that they are liking this game because they lean with it in a political sense. I don't know, bro. Why do people get so insane when it comes to game releases and politics? I don't know, but like, I guess that's just something I'm going to have to expect when a game like this pops off, that I just get hit with wild things from people, and then I have to get into this back and forth conversation where I'm like, yo, I think people are just really enjoying the game, and it's like, do we have to bring in all of the nonsense? But I guess sometimes I talk about the nonsense, so I am just getting a little infuriated, and you know what, let's drop it. Let's talk about the positives. Here is the positive. Black Myth Wukong sales have topped 10 million copies sold. They've put out an official release, 10 million units sold across all platforms, 3 million concurrent players across all platforms, which is surprising, because Steam alone has peaked at like 2.4 million concurrent players, which would be, I believe, the most successful Steam concurrent player count ever. A game played within 24 hours of launch on Steam. I believe PUBG is actually ahead of Black Myth Wukong if you're talking all time, but within the first 24 hours, Black Myth Wukong is an incredibly successful game. I mean, we don't need to undersell 2.4 million concurrent players. I expected this game to be successful. I did not know it was going to be this successful, and yes, this game truly represents a landmark moment in game development if you really assess big game releases coming out of China, game development in-house in China. Black Myth Wukong is representing a big budget single player game resonating at this level. And not only that, it is the debut of a new IP. Now, the new IP isn't necessarily Black Myth Wukong. However, I do believe that Game Science is going to expand upon Black Myth as an IP in where they explore Chinese mythology, which I think that could be incredibly exciting. I'm sure everything is on the table. I'm sure that Game Science has a lot of opportunities on the table given the success level of Black Myth Wukong, and not to say that I don't have my issues with Black Myth Wukong. This is the kind of game that I am never going to be the kind of person that is going to be able to properly assess Black Myth Wukong. You guys know how I feel about action-heavy, Souls-like, challenging action RPGs. I can enjoy them, I have a good time with them, but I don't get so knee-deep into them, and at the point of, you know, a boss fight, figuring out what is the best way to tackle it, figuring out all of the specific nuances, and assessing every element of game design. Guys, I am just not the person to do that for Souls-like games. There's a lot of great content creators out there. The Souls-like genre is just not one that I can talk about as far as assessing meticulously its game design. What I can assess is the appeal of the game, and there's a lot of things that people want to get emotional about in regards to Black Myth Wukong. I get it that some people are going to be upset about the success level of the game. If you have certain beliefs, if you have things that Black Myth Wukong is doing, that the review guidelines, for example, that got a lot of traction. However, putting all that aside, assess the game in a vacuum. Is it a well-made game? I would say you know, that's gonna be subjective, person to person, but truly assess whether or not it's a well-made game. I think it is a very well-made game. Again, I can't meticulously assess every aspect of the game, but I do think, you know, that opening 15 to 20 minutes of this game was one of the most exhilarating opening sequences of a video game that really set the tempo for the rest of the game. Is it appealing to a large number of players? Yes. Even if you want to say that a large portion of the player base is out of China. I mean, it's a big budget title coming out of China about Chinese mythology. Surprise, surprise! The Chinese audience has taken a vested interest in the game. Wow, am I shocked about that? But even over here in the West, this game is enormous, and it's one of those games that I believe is going to, over the coming weeks, I'm not saying it's going to surpass the peak of 2.4 million, but as more and more people play it, more and more people are going to talk about it, and more people are going to check it out, and it's going to gradually get more people to check it out and more people to play it. I do think a little bit of a fumble without a you know, a dedicated physical release. Maybe that'll happen sometime down the line, but we've seen big titles like Alan Wake 2 for its launch also forego a physical release, which is a little bit of a bummer in terms of actually having the game on a disc. But this game is absolutely massive, and it once again shows that big budget titles, single player games, even if it's a new IP, they can resonate. Not everything needs to be a live service game, and what's great about Black Myth Wukong is so many people took interest in it, but you know what? It's a good thing that people are gonna play this game within, you know, a week, 2 weeks, maybe a month, and then guess what? People spent their $60 on it. I think a lot of people are gonna say, hey, I got my $60 worth on it, but guess what? Those people don't suddenly not become gamers. They continue to buy other video games, unlike the idea of a live service game, which live service as a model can work. I've said that over and over again, but live service is so invested into, we need to get you to play that game for years and years, month over month, year over year. We need your investment. With Wukong, yo, you got our investment. You got our $60. Give me a worthwhile game. You gave me a worthwhile game. All right, great. And guess what? Next month when Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 comes out, I'll buy that as well, and I'll enjoy that. I'll play Sonic X Shadow Generations because, you know, these are the kinds of games that I like. You know, games that I can enjoy in a vacuum, I can spend my money on, and then I can move on with my life. And obviously, games like this can still amass a significant amount of interest. I'm not saying every game is going to be a slam dunk home run, but you know, for a long time we saw so many publishers move to this live service model. This game is a definitive game right out the gate. It's a complete game right out the gate. Its feature set is designed to be replayable. That is where it is going for, and it's a replayable game right out the gate. I just think it's doing so much right in terms of fundamental game design. Even if this genre isn't my favorite genre in the world, from a game design standpoint and what it represents, I think it's doing so well, and it's being rewarded. More than anything, this game is being rewarded. Stellar Blade earlier this year was rewarded, and that's what I love to see. And you're talking to somebody 4 years ago, I didn't know if this game was ever gonna come out. Look, you're talking to somebody that's probably one of the most pessimistic content creators on YouTube, but I am so happy that 4 years later, after we initially talked about this game getting revealed, it actually came out. It turned out the way that it did. I have my issues with the game, but who cares? I have my issues with every video game pretty much, and what I can say is Black Myth Wukong, really, to me, at a fundamental level, even if this isn't my genre of choice, you know, my open world action RPG, you know, it's not my genre of choice, what it represents in the larger scale of gaming, I just think it's something we can all celebrate that this game is doing as well as it is. Even if, again, you're like me, challenging action RPGs aren't your cup of tea, the fact that this is a new IP, the fact that this game is a single-player title, the fact that it doesn't have all these live service elements baked into it, and it's selling this well, these are the kinds of games that we want more of in gaming across all genres, We want more of Black Myth Wukong, and I am just ecstatic that it's doing as well as it is. That's gonna do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.